there, my name is Taylor VanDyk and I'm a registered dietitian. I work as a health educator over at the university, and then I also have an online private practice where I see clients specifically for nutrition. And I was asked to just share with you some of my very top tips for just creating an overall healthy and balanced lifestyle. So I've worked with a variety of different clients over the years, but there tend to be some themes that always kind of reoccurring and pop up. So I'm going to share with you my top tips today and we'll get right into it. So first and foremost, this one is tough for a lot of people, but getting rid of the all or nothing mindset around food. So a lot of times we think food is black and white. It's good versus bad, but that's just not the case. So instead of having like I'm all in on the diet or I'm all out on the diet, have a really good balance. Like instead of having all pizza, have pizza and salad. Or if you have a meal that you would consider to be bad, instead of waiting until Monday to start the diet back over again, start right now. Have the next meal a nice balanced meal with some vegetables and carbs and a lean protein source so that you feel good and it's not always like you're starting over. So try to really hard to find that good balance, so without having to be super restrictive of foods. Okay, so that's tip number one. Tip number two is going right off of that is finding balance. So a lot of times when it comes to diets or different lifestyle plans, they recommend cutting out entire food groups. But there's a reason that we have all these food groups, and it's because they all have a purpose within your diet. So if a plan recommends that you cut out an entire food group or seems unrealistic, it's probably too good to be true, okay? So always keep that one in mind. But going right off of that, typically I recommend that every single meal that you have, breakfast, lunch, dinner, should include 3 components. So it should include a protein source, a carb source, and a color source. So a color would be a fruit or a vegetable. And I say fruit or vegetable just because generally, maybe for breakfast, for instance, you would have a fruit, and then for lunch, you would have a vegetable, so on and so forth. And if you can't get all those components in at your meals, you could even split it up throughout the day through snacks. So for instance, you could have cereal for breakfast, which would be a whole grain, and some dairy, which would be a little bit of a protein source. And then maybe for a snack later, you can have some carrots. So you can see how that balance plays out, even if it's not at every single meal. But the reason that all of these components of your meal are so important: one, carbs provide a lot of nutrients like B vitamins, and then fiber. Fiber is super important for a lot of different reasons. And also, carbs are your body's preferred source of energy, especially if you're an active person. Right now you're doing this walking challenge, so you might be a little bit more active than you're used to. And when you're an active person, or just in general, your body really needs carbs for energy. So that is why we need carbs. Protein is to help your body build and repair. So when you are sleeping at night, your body's job is really just to repair and restart for the next day, and your body needs protein to be able to do that. Also, everything in your body is made of protein: your hair, your nails, your skin. So we need protein in order to rebuild and repair your body from walking and from like muscle soreness and those types of things. And then fats, I didn't talk about fats, but fats are also an important part of the diet, and I do recommend focusing on healthier fats. So healthier fats come from plant-based sources, avocados, oils, nuts, those types of things all have good healthy fats, and those can be included in that balanced plate. And then lastly, color. Color, we all know fruits and vegetables are healthy, full of vitamins, minerals, fiber. They keep you full and satisfied. So always really focus on having that balanced plate, and if you can't get 3 components at every meal, try to at least get 2, okay? My next tip, try to always focus on whole foods and fiber. So I pair these together because generally when we're focusing on fiber, we are focusing on whole foods. So if you think about the foods that contain a lot of fiber, it's going to be your fruits and your vegetables, whole grains, beans, nuts, all of those types of things contain fiber. And they're also considered to be whole foods, which means they're very nutritious, they're less processed, and those types of things. So when you're thinking about your overall diet, try to focus on those foods that have high amounts of fiber, as well as high amounts of, that are whole foods. So they kind of go hand in hand. So when we focus on that, we're automatically eating a more whole foods, well-balanced diet. And number 4, what am I on 4 here? always remember that health is more than just your diet. So a lot of times I'll talk to people and they'll say, oh, well, my diet's bad, so, my health is just out the window. But if there's a day when your diet maybe isn't that great because you had a busy day, it was stressful, you got kids, whatever it might be, remember that there's so many other components of health. So your sleep is important, your stress management is important, your physical activity is important, relationships are important. All of these are part of your overall health. And just because one is out of whack doesn't mean you can't focus on those other areas. So if you have an off day with your nutrition, really kind of focus like, okay, well, I can at least get a walk in today, or I can get some good sleep tonight. So try to shift your balance and shift your focus so that you can still be doing something healthy for your body to take care of yourself. And then finally, my last and probably most important tip is to listen to your body. Right now, we live in a culture and a society where there are so many diets out there. There's so much nutrition information on the internet. And so you are constantly hearing, do this, don't eat that, don't eat that. But your body is an amazing machine and it tells you things. So that is my best recommendation, is to listen. If you're feeling hungry, even though you just ate, your body's like, hey, that wasn't enough for me. I need a snack. Or maybe I need something that you didn't feed me, like some carbs, some fruits, some vegetables. It's just like when you're like, hunger is just like your body telling you that you're tired or that you have to go to the bathroom. It's an urge and it's telling you something. We just have to listen. So that would be my last and probably most important piece of advice, is to really listen to what's inside and be intuitive and listen to your body. So I hope that you found these tips helpful. Like I said, these are just kind of bits and pieces and things that tend to come up in conversations over and over again. So I figured that some of you might find them helpful as well. I'm gonna go ahead and put my social media on the screen here. So if you have any questions, you can find me there. And thank you so much for watching, and I hope to talk to you soon.